We all know we're supposed to eat well in order to be healthy. What we maybe don't understand is how important eating well is required as a precursor to any diagnosis that we may receive, especially some of the more serious diagnoses like cancer. And I am so delighted to be here to talk today with my dear friend and colleague, Dr. Carol Lourie. I'm going to tell you a little bit about her in just a moment, but part of the reason that I want to talk with you is because she takes that conversation one step further and has a phenomenal program called Empowered Against Reoccurrence for those who have already been through breast cancer. So even if you have dealt with an illness, any kind of chronic illness, any kind of health issue, it is never too late to change your diet, change your lifestyle, and get back on the path to wellness. So just tiny little bit about her, because otherwise it would fill the entire time. She's got so many fabulous credentials. Dr. Carol, well, you do, like, you're amazing. Dr. Carol Lourie is a naturopathic doctor. She's also a licensed acupuncturist and a homeopath. She has been in practice for over 35 years. The last 16 years, she has been focusing on supporting people with breast cancer. And today we are just going to dive in and talk about that. Carol, thank you so much for being here.
I'm so excited and honored to be here with you and your community. Thank you for having me.
You know, I think one of the things that I love every time I get together with you, when we see each other at conferences, I always learn so much new information. And the last time we saw each other, you were so upbeat about how much changing the diet, even in the midst of everything that's going on, can really support someone and change what's going on with their metabolism. So I'd love to know, in an ideal situation, when would someone start? And then once they've received a diagnosis, how do they shift into this change?
Great question. Happy to talk about that. Like you, I think nutrition and how we eat is the foundation of our health. Mm-hmm. So whether you have cancer, you have a family member who has cancer, for any type of cancer. My specialty is breast and women's cancers, but it doesn't matter if you have a family history of colon or lung cancer, which is a more serious disease. And there's a few things that you need to understand. One is cancer doesn't develop overnight. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you've spoken with your community, any chronic disease, there are multiple driving factors, which you have to have. Unfortunately, the phrase "the perfect storm" is accurate here, that go into creating a cancer diagnosis. So then you go for your annual mammogram, and all of a sudden there's a little blip there. And the next thing you know, they think it's suspicious and they're lining you up for a biopsy. That's option number one. Option number two is you have a very strong family history of breast cancer. Your maternal grandmother or your paternal grandmother or an aunt or a cousin or your mother, especially if your mother. And then if that's the case, I really encourage women to get genetically screened to see if they have what's known as the BRCA1 or 2 breast cancer gene, because that can increase your chance of getting breast cancer by up to 13%, and that's a lot. But the good news is, if you divorce yourself, notice the phrase, the divorce word, from the standard American diet, mm-hmm. The initials are SAD, S-A-D. I think the initials should be also dangerous, because the standard American diet is one of the number one contributing factors towards breast cancer or any cancer. It's never too late to change how you eat. And
I love that you say that, because I think so many people, by the time they get any kind of an illness, but especially cancer, they've been eating poorly for so long, and they're so conditioned to the way that they're eating and living their life that they sort of throw up their hands and go, oh, well, and that's not the case, right?
No. Excuse me.
No.
I'll give you an example of how much it's not the case and how ingrained it is in our society. How I was introduced to breast cancer is my dear friend was diagnosed, and I committed to going through every single treatment with her. And the first time we showed up at UCSF for her chemotherapy infusion, as soon as we walked in, they said, "Oh, you look a little thin. Would you like some Ensure?" Now, Ensure, the number one ingredient is glucose. Then we sit down and they get the IV thing in and they say to her, here's some, Gatorade. And then a few minutes later, would you like a hard candy? And here's a popsicle. And then when she finished, would you like a cookie or cupcake? So 5 times, this is true story, I can't make this up. At UCSF, during an infusion, she was offered sugar. Now, one of the main aspects of cancer, especially breast cancer, is something called the Warburg effect. And the Warburg effect was discovered by this little German scientist in 1918, and he won the Nobel Medicine Peace Prize for it in 1924. Put simply, that cancer, given a choice between energy in the form of glucose or energy in the form of oxygen, and it has to work twice as hard to get the glucose in the gas tank, and it gets less glucose in its gas tank, it still chooses sugar over oxygen for its energy gas tank. That's known as anaerobic glycolysis. So can you imagine, you pull up at the gas station, you have a choice of sugar, which costs twice as much and gives you, like, costs more than twice, like 17 times as much, and gives you that much less energy or gas, or you can pick oxygen and you still choose sugar. So no matter what else happens, the number one factor of cancer is a metabolic disease is we need to remove sugar as much as possible from our diets. And that includes not just white sugar as like candies and cupcakes, it includes simple carbohydrates too.
Yeah, it's so interesting that you should say that, because I frequently, when I'm working with new clients, have to point out to them that our taste buds may say different, but as far as our body is concerned, there's absolutely no difference between a piece of cake and a piece of bread. They're both simple carbohydrates and the body processes them very, very quickly.
Right. The cake has more sugar, white sugar, than the bread does, but you're right, it's processed very quickly as a simple carbohydrate. And what is the standard American diet? It's processed foods, it's simple carbs, it's sugar, it's saturated meats and saturated fats. So you're eating every single thing that is unhealthy for you.
It's energy dense, not nutrient dense. And that's the problem.
Energy dense, and it's unhealthy caloric nutrients dense that really are not feeding your cells, but are feeding inflammation. So the phrase cancer is a metabolic disease is a very serious phrase, but it gives women and men, if they have cancer, a lot of empowerment, because you can simply change what you put in your gas tank. And so you can decide to, like, say goodbye to cancer. I'm not going to feed you gas today. Or you can, say, okay, I want this, so I'm going to put gas in the cancer energy gas tank. I mean, that's a very simple way of putting it, but we need these simple phrases and understanding, because when you go out to lunch with your friends and everybody's ordering pasta or a sandwich, my experience of restaurants is that you can say, you can get like grilled protein in a salad any place. And in worst kinds of scenario, I'll order a sandwich and just take the stuff off the bread and eat. I mean, I've done that in an airport. You just eat around the bread. You can stand up for yourself and say to the wait person, I this is what I need. Can you help me with this? I haven't ever had anybody be disrespected in a restaurant when they ask like that.
And I think you're right. I think it's also getting into the habit, though. We're so used to going with the flow, going along with what everybody else is doing, that it feels a little weird to all of a sudden start saying, I can't eat that. Or
okay, here's the deal. This is where mindset comes in. So if you say, I can't eat that, you're saying it from the negative, right? And then you're going to feel like, oh, I can't eat this, I can't eat that. I'm seeing my friends eat chocolate cake and I, just at the heck with it, I'm going to eat what I want. So how we approach this and how we talk to ourselves is very critical. It needs to be not from the I can't eat. I'm choosing to be healthy.
I love that.
And I love ice cream, and my husband likes to have ice cream every night. And my new phrase is I'm allergic to ice cream. Now I don't eat a lot of it, a couple tablespoons while he's eating his ton of, and it's healthy ice cream. It's cashew nut ice cream. But my new phrase is I am allergic to ice cream. And he said, well, I bought you this special ice cream that flavor I know you're going to like. And I went, I'm sorry, that's great, but I'm allergic to ice cream. He goes, you are? I go, yes, I am now. I have to lose 5 pounds. I'm allergic to ice cream. And that's my new phrase. So I encourage your audience to find a phrase that works for you. I choose to be healthy.
Yes, I'm choosing to nourish my body. I love that.
And you don't have to be deprived with
No.
this new way of eating, because who likes being deprived, right?
Sure. Well, and so, let's shift a little bit, because your community is all about recurrence and
Also about being through treatment. It's not just recurrence. It's like you're in treatment. It's for women who have breast cancer or have a family history of it.
Sure. And so when someone starts with you, I know, because I know you, it's more than just the food. It's actually, as you mentioned, the lifestyle. It's about looking at all the different aspects of how we move through our daily existence. Can you talk a little bit about some of the other things that are important for a holistic or functionally balanced life?
Well, I'd love to. Thank you. That's a great question. So the standard American way of life, how do we get messages about that? Let's look to the television. A woman is depressed. How do we know she's depressed? She's sitting in the house and there's images of dirty dishes and the beds are unmade and the house is a mess. First of all, why is that the woman's job? Why is that the woman's responsibility? Why isn't it both people who live in the house, their responsibility? And then she takes a pill and then she's better. How do we know she's better? Because the clothes are folded and there's no dishes in the sink, etc. Another one of my favorite ads is she's depressed. She's sitting in bed and the next thing you know, she's taking a pill and she's outside serving the family a picnic lunch. Why isn't the family serving her a picnic lunch? The messaging here is very, very important. And it's not about prevention. It's like, well, maybe the woman's sad because her mother died, or, something's the matter in her family, and she feels unfulfilled in her life. I mean, why is she not feeling well? And it didn't occur in a moment. It took a while to develop this depression. And that's how all diseases. And then there's the ad for Tums. An obese man is sitting there with this sandwich that nobody should ever be eating. It's called the sandwich, I call it. You take a few bites of this and then you just drive yourself to the emergency room. So you're in there when you have your cardiovascular event. It has 3 little hamburgers in it with cheese and bacon. And it's a cardiovascular moment in a bite. Yeah. And he's obese. And it's an advertisement for Tums, which is about antacid. So they're not showing him eating a salad. A delicious, healthy salad with avocado, which is what I have every day for lunch, with a little bit of feta cheese and olive oil and lemon juice. So how we eat and how we live our life, those messages are brought to us through the American advertising companies and the products. So what goes into a healthy lifestyle? Remove yourself from television as much as possible. A lot of it is wasting our time that we could be spent in creating a toxin-free home, going through our wardrobe and energetically looking and seeing, well, I haven't worn this in 6 years, or every time I look at it, I feel badly because I was a size X now and I'm a size Y now and it doesn't fit me. And
why do we hold on to clothing that doesn't fit anymore? It's like we're holding on to a hope. Like, just go buy clothes that fit you and
Right.
love the body you're in.
Right.
No.
Love the body you're in. And it's okay to say, I'm going to lose a certain amount of weight because I want to be healthier, and I have a plan, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it with love for who I am, and it's going to fit into my lifestyle. But as you mentioned, it's a whole lifestyle shift. And in my program, we have a module called Creating an Empowered and Healthy Lifestyle. And so what goes into that? And Mira is a guest. It's about creating a healthy pantry. You
Mhm.
open up your pantry, and if you see boxes of processed food, mac and cheese, lots of crackers, pasta, that's not a healthy pantry,
Yeah.
right? Um, so how do we create a healthy pantry? And then we go a little deeper. It's like, are you using plastic in your kitchen?
Mm.
Plastic, there's this one sauce that I love, and when we finished it, I looked at the inside of the plastic container and it was red. And I thought, why is that red? And then I did some reading and I realized that the acid in the tomato products leaches into the plastic and breaks down the plastic, and you're getting the BPAs and the BSAs that are part of plastic into your food. So
Mhm.
out went that. I never bought that salsa again. I only buy tomato products that are in glass jars or BPA free, and it says it on the label, cans.
Mhm.
And I would, I have people in my home every now and then, and they think it's okay to microwave in plastic. Never microwave in plastic.
Never. No.
You buy
Don't do
something
that.
that's frozen, even if you think it's healthy, you cut, if you can't get it out of that frozen container, you cut that frozen container away. You stick it in a glass container with a lid, glass lid on it, and you microwave it. I'm not that opposed to the microwave, but we have to be safe with our microwave use. What kind of laundry detergent, dishwashing detergent are you using? That's
Yeah.
another one we don't think about. Hot water, hands, toxic soap. What happens to that soap with lots of chemicals? Gets into our hands. Where does it go? It goes into our bloodstream and it creates estrogen disruption, hormonal disruption, so that we're not able to smoothly break down and eliminate our hormones. So those
Plus,
are
for
just,
many of those things, like especially the laundry detergents, there's fragrance on them. And then it gets on your skin and you're breathing it, like you're just absorbing all of those molecules. It's not a great option.
that's just in the kitchen, but let's expand it a little bit to the rest of your house. I had a 35-year-old woman come in to see me who had the diagnosis of unexplained infertility. And I
Mm.
love these diagnoses of unexplained, whatever it is, because for me, it means they haven't done the right testing, or they haven't dug deep enough.
Mhm.
She came in, she had enough perfume on, like it was the ground floor of Macy's. For those of you who can understand what that means, it's like that's the perfume floor. And so I said to her, tell me about scent. And she goes, oh, I love scent. She goes, I have the plugins, I have the sticks, and here's the clincher. I spray my sofa with Febreze.
Oh,
So the hair is standing up on my head at that point, because what is Febreze? It's the worst toxic chemicals. And she had a dog. So the dog would jump on the sofa, get those chemicals all over its body. She would pet the dog. The dog slept with her and her husband. So, I mean, and then I said, okay, so do me a favor when you go home, gather all your ingredients and take a picture on the countertop and send it to me. 29 ingredients.
oh
So
man.
I said, you don't have unexplained infertility, you have toxic home problems, which are
Yeah.
creating infertility. You can't get pregnant. So she had to throw out her sofa because we couldn't detoxify it. It was fabric. And so she had to throw that out. She had to buy all new laundry detergent and wash all of her sheets and her towels, because as you said, you come out of the shower, your pores are open, you wrap yourself in a towel that's been dried with a dryer sheet.
Wow.
You sleep in bed that's with the linens that have been dried in a dryer sheet, and all those chemicals get into your skin and disrupt your hormones and your antioxidant status. So 3 months detoxifying the home, buying a new sofa, everything was cleaned, and we put her on smoothie and some supplements. She got pregnant very easily.
Oh,
So yeah, I mean, this is simple but powerful work.
yeah.
And so it is absolutely, we change your diet. We need to also change your home. And
Mhm.
then a lot of times when people don't feel well, they develop what I call the couch potato syndrome. You don't feel well, you can't get off the couch, you sit there and watch TV, and you don't move your body.
Mhm.
And that creates a lot of stagnation in your physical body and also in your mental health.
Mhm.
So as you begin to change your diet and you add a few supplements, you have more energy. So I call it, let's start with 5 minutes. And what is that? You go out of the house, now it's nice out, 5 minutes out and 5 minutes back.
That's great. I love
Get
that.
on
And
the
you know,
treadmill, 5 minutes for the treadmill today and 5 minutes for tomorrow.
and that was actually the point I was going to make, is if it's raining, you could do stairs or a treadmill or something,
Yeah,
like you can still get
stairs
in
are
your
really
5
good. Yeah,
minutes. Yeah.
5 minutes. And so the next day it's 6 minutes. Every day you add a minute. So by the end of the week, you're up to 7 minutes. And by the
Mhm.
end of the month, you're up to 30.
Mhm.
And
That's great.
makes a huge, and if you get to the point where you have to repeat a certain number of minutes for a few days till you get your strength up, that's fine. We're
Yeah.
also hard on ourselves. Oh, I can't do 7 minutes or 10 minutes or 12 minutes a day, so I'm just going to forget it. Listen, I'll take 5 minutes a day,
Mhm.
you know. And the good news is there's a lot of free things that you can find on YouTube of women. If you want to work with a woman or a man, somebody, you have to do a little bit of time and find somebody who has the energy that you like. There's
Yeah.
thousands of exercise, free exercising videos and workout videos, and just do a little bit of research and go, oh, I really like this person. Now, you want a young person? Do you want a man? Do you want a woman? Do you want to do yoga, Tai Chi, or Qigong? There is 8,000 options for you.
Sure.
And if you say, I don't have time, do you have time to sit on the sofa and watch your soap opera or, watch CNN or Fox News nonstop?
Yeah.
It's like, we got to turn off the TV and get off the social media so we have time to take care of ourselves.
I love that. Those are such fabulous suggestions. Thank you for sharing. And I also love how you're taking it. It's not just about what we eat, it's about how we live.
How we live. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Carol, if someone wanted to connect with you to learn a little bit more about you and the work you do, where would they find you?
So I have a contact me on my website, and my website address is my name. It's Carol, Carol. And then my last name is Lourie. It's CarolLaurie.com. Use the contact me. I respond to everyone I get an email from, and I'd be happy to speak with anyone from your community.
That sounds great. And I've made some wonderful notes from our talk. I absolutely love your change what you put in your gas tank. Got to figure out how to turn that into a sticker. Just
Oh,
saying.
great.
And,
your body gas tank, your energy.
that's right. Your metabolic gas tank.
Metabolic gas tank.
But I'm going to put all the notes down below for everybody. So please make sure to click like, subscribe, and check out all the links. Carol, thank you so much for being here. This was really wonderful.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so great to hang out with you in your community.
All right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.